Guys, we are on our way to the Dutch Oven Bakery to get our cheeses and meats and stuff for this week. We finally got some storms came in last night and gave us some rain. I was a little skeptical as to whether we were going to get any, but we finally got a little bit. We got just over a half an inch of rain. We could use more, but we'll take every bit we can get. And there was some lightning and thunder that was happening last night, and Ute was not happy about it at all. Somebody didn't get much sleep last night because of it.
Big crack of lightning and thunder, and Ute was all up in my face. And it was off and on all night long.
Yeah. Sheena does not like lightning or fireworks and such. I mean, she's gotten okay about thunderstorms, but Ute is a mess. He goes crazy over the fireworks and he goes crazy over the thunderstorms. And somebody doesn't get much sleep because of it.
I think I sat there at it, I don't know how long.
Cow.
Oh, that's a cow. That's a bull. There ain't no cow. That's a huge one.
Well, I didn't get a good look at it. Hey guys, so it is Saturday afternoon and I am just sitting out here on the front porch on a blessedly rainy day. I've got a cup of coffee here in my Polish pottery chicken mug, and I've got my laptop out here and I'm just relaxing. I'm editing some photos and just enjoying the lovely afternoon. You know, when you are going through life, just doing all the things that we have to do, it is so hard to actually rest. It is so hard to give our minds and our bodies that downtime that we so desperately need. You know, there are so many people who are chronically sleep deprived. They don't get a good night's rest. And I think it's one of the many contributing factors as far as why people here in the United States are so unhealthy as a general rule. I mean, not everybody, of course, just, you know, broad strokes here. But so many people don't eat well. They eat junk. They don't eat real food. They don't get enough sleep. And just going with that, it's important not only to get a full night's sleep, but it's also important to take a day of rest. You know, God made the world and everything in it in 6 days, and then he rested on the seventh day, and he thought that was an important thing, so much so that he declared the seventh day a Sabbath a day of rest. He said to keep it holy. It's so important. It's one of the 10 Commandments. And yet we routinely ignore that. You know, it's easy to say don't lie, don't murder, don't, you know, commit adultery and all of those things, but how often do we completely ignore God's day? That is something that actually really started getting on my mind last year. Conveniently, right after I decided that I was going to work at the farmer's market every Saturday, which was enjoyable. It was not, you know, physical labor or anything like that. It was being out there and socializing and helping to promote a local farm and everything. But I didn't want to back out on my commitment because I had given my word and said that I would do this thing for this family, and so I wasn't going to leave them in the lurch or anything like that. But I had decided that once the farmer's market season was over, I wasn't going to do that again, and I was going to be very intentional about keeping the seventh day a day of rest. And it's hard. It's hard to do that because it never fails. Something always tries to come up on Saturday. It always tries. But I have found that since I have started doing that, having a day of just resting and recharging has been so helpful. And at first it might be work to not work, but in the long run, I think it does a body good. Hey guys, so it is a work day out here in the garden. I ended up taking down the shade that I had put up for the tomatoes out here because the loofah was wrapping around it and then going around the tomatoes and completely just choking the tomatoes, the tops of the tomato plants. It actually broke off the tops of several tomato plants, which means those plants are now topped off. There'll be no more new tomatoes happening. The sheer amount of vegetation that was up here was causing moisture problems, which meant I was beginning to deal with blight. And then the thing that triggered my whole rip this whole thing apart episode was I found some army worms on my tomatoes and they were devouring, and so I had to get in there, which led me to pull everything apart, which led me to cutting off mountains of loofah. There's loofah for days all over the ground. There's loofah tossed out here. There's loofah tossed over there. There's a mountain of loofah right here. There's loofah over there for those ducks because they all love to eat it. It's loofah everywhere. And so since I'm out here and I'm pulling stuff out, I'm just cleaning out the beds. I'm pulling out the dead stuff. There's like ground cherry plants that are done and things like that. And so it's just kind of a bit of a clean up and weed out day. We did get some more rain yesterday, quite a bit of rain. We actually got an inch. Let me move my coffee here for a second. We actually got a full inch of rain out here. Thank you, Barry, Tropical Storm Barry, for bringing the rain. And they said that there's chances of rain pretty much every single day this week, but yeah, I'm grateful for what we just got, that is for sure. So back to work. And if you look right down in there, that is why ground cherries seed themselves. That is why if you plant ground cherries once, you're gonna have them forever. Yeah, forever. So I have been out here for a good while doing lots of clearing out. I weeded, not thoroughly, but pretty well, this bed here. Pulled out all of the dead Cosmo flowers, and I really cleaned out my big bed here. I pulled out everything that was dead. I pulled out the Cosmos, the Blue Monday sage. I didn't pull the seeds off of that one, or this cluster, just because I have so many of them. I just went ahead and cleared these out. I've got a big open space in here now where a lot of that dead stuff was. I did accidentally pull out my tarragon, which I'm not pleased about. Cleaned out all the dead stuff on this end, and I think what I'm going to do right here is actually plant some sunflowers. Yeah, that's the plan. I deadheaded all of my zinnias, this batch here and the batch down at the other end, so that it can put all of the energy towards the new growth. And yeah, so I just hauled off a wagon overloaded mountain of stuff to the compost area. So yes, I needed to do this. It's humid, but it's not 1,000,000 degrees outside, and so I just wanted to take the opportunity to try and get a little bit of cleanup out here. After all, you know, I mentioned in my garden tour over the weekend that Mama's coming to visit next week, and I'm disappointed that she's going to be missing the garden in its prime, but I do still want it to look nice when she gets here. And now that I cleared out some spaces, you can actually see my little decorations that were completely swallowed up. There is still more that needs to be done, but I got a big chunk of it done, and I really wanted to get out here after we had all of that rain, because weeds are so much easier to pull when the soil is wet as opposed to when it is concrete. So right now I'm going to head into the house and get it cleaned up a little bit. Mr. Smith and I actually need to run a quick errand. We need to go order some tires for my truck because my truck needs some new tires.